What happens when the horrors of nature in the Oklahoma Dust Bowl meet an almost supernatural level of fear? You get the Hulu original movie, Hold Your Breath. In a small Oklahoma town, during the ravages of the Oklahoma Dust Bowl, Margaret and her 2 daughters wait out the storms until they hear from the father, who has just received a new job in the West. While they wait out the storm, they read stories of a figure known as the Gray Man, who can get in through any crack in any home and terrorize families. However, it seems as though the fantasy of the Gray Man and the reality of the dust storms outside collide with the family, needing them to hold their breath. So this movie flew a bit under my radar. I was kind of just scoping out what new horror movies were going to be out, and was kind of more hoping something in the movie theaters would come out, but unfortunately didn't seem to happen that way. But there was something kind of original on Hulu, this movie. This movie didn't feel like, well, a Hulu movie. It felt more like this should have been in theaters. And considering it was made by Fox Searchlight, it was apparent that this probably would have been in theaters. But knowing Fox, they probably just wanted to hold back and not waste their budget on advertising, but instead put it on a streaming service. The movie's key mental focus is on Sarah Paulson's character, Margaret. She brings this old-timey, scared, worried feel about her. Sarah Paulson's kind of hit or miss for me. A lot of you may know her from the American Horror Story series, and depending on which season, she could be either very friendly, kind, caring, or terrible. And so she does have the range in order to pull off a character like this. But the problem is she's not really given anyone to play off of. Sure, she has her 2 kids, but it's mostly just a wait-and-see movie. What I mean by that is you watch the movie and you wait to see what happens. What is going to happen to this family? Not what's happening to them, what's going to happen to them, and you kind of wait with anticipation as to what's going to happen, rather than expect something to surprise you, expect something to entice you, like what's going to happen. It more becomes, okay, something needs to happen. And because of that, it does drag quite a bit. Amia Miller plays her older daughter, Rose, and she does a pretty good job. Not really getting much to work off of, but her presence, her feel of what's happening does kind of resonate. Trying to keep her younger sister not scared, while also being kind of scared with whatever's going on with her mom, and whatever's going on outside of her house and in the world around her. In a time where, you know, women are meant to be women all the time, even if they're young ladies. And it kind of plays off of that, but not as much as I was kind of expecting it to. But I absolutely loved Eben Moss-Bachrach. He was really cool to see in this movie. I love him as an actor. I think he's great in The Punisher. I think he's great in The Bear. And he does a really, really good job of bringing out this fear into a physical form where the majority of the movie is just kind of in your head, and so you don't have much to play off of. But when he shows up, there's a real sense of fear that I felt the movie needed more of, but it didn't really... It almost worked, but it didn't really do much with. I wouldn't necessarily say this is a great movie. I more or less would just call this a paint-by-numbers kind of movie. I could see why it wasn't released in major cinemas. And overall, you can breathe easy not checking this one out. Stay tuned for more horror goodies here on Jack-O-Ween.